Hey, 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 welcome to the show. This is Michaela Compton and Mike Karen here on GZR. Ground Zero Radio. Yes, here we are. High five. Boom. That's a radio high five for all of you listeners out there. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We so much appreciate you, our listening audience. You are awesome. So awesome. Thank you for your support of this show and the support of the local artists. Tonight in the studio, we have Mark Ryan live in the studio with us here tonight, and this is going to be a blast. We're here in Costa Mesa, Newport Beach. The sun has set. The temperature is cooling off. And we are ready for Mark Ryan in the studio. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm good. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So happy to have you here tonight. We're going to be sharing your original music and talking about your musical journey.
It has been a journey. Yeah, I'm happy to talk about it. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Mark Ryan, he's actually a drummer. Right?
You see it like it's a bad thing.
No.
It's just funny talking about a drummer holding a guitar.
Yeah.
No. Are you kidding me? Look, I can tell you I have this very weird brain that for some reason catalogs every musician I've ever met in my life, and the very first one in the catalog is a drummer from the 6th grade.
Oh, wow. Oh. So you have some experience with this.
Yes, yeah. I do.
Well, at least you didn't have children who are drummers. I sympathize with any mom, dad out there who has let their child, erroneously I might add, let their child play drums. Because
when I was,
you will pay for that.
I almost went that way. When I was about 9 years old, my aunt, my mother's sister, bought me this great drum kit, and she's like, you got to get that out of the house. You can play in the garage all you want. And then the next day she took her Cadillac and plowed through my drum kit.
Oh.
So that
what?
So I think that might have been a sign from somebody.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, the same aunt would always get me something to tick off my mom. So she knew what she was doing.
Well, in my case, drums saved me because I had already tried every sport and failed at them. And it didn't look like I was going to be doing any of that stuff. So my mom decided one summer that I was going to have lessons. She was pretty firm about that, but she did do a smart thing and let me pick. We went down and looked at the local band playing on the green in my little town in Ohio, and she said, you can pick any instrument, you're going to take lessons all summer. And the drummers were clearly having more fun than anybody else in that concert band. So I said, okay, I'll try that. And it was a good fit for me. And I've been playing drums ever since. So what's 12 to 66? That's a lot of years of playing drums. But at some point you do kind of you realize that you can't write a melody on a drum kit. You can't really sing too well from behind a drum kit. There are exceptions. But so at some point I picked up guitar and I got a music degree. And I learned a whole lot about the tonality of music and chords and theory. And that really blew my mind because I was able to write songs. And so I still play drums, but I get a lot more joy, I think, out of singing and playing guitar.
Awesome. Awesome. I love the story, and I love that you were originally a drummer. And so back to your thing about parents who have children or do or don't have children as drummers. So my oldest son is a drummer, and we had 2 drum kits in our house at one point.
And lots of earplugs.
Right.
Yeah, but you know what? I would rather hear my children doing that than not know where they are. Right?
Yeah.
So
that's a good point. Yeah. And if they're home playing, then you can hear them, and you know where they are. And you know there are a lot of lessons that music will teach you, not just about music, but life lessons too. You know, showing up on time and the various things about the brain that are activated by music. That's just an amazing thing. So Good for you. 2 drummers. I think one would have been enough, but
it just kind of was like a happenstance that we had 2 different kits. Yeah, one was an 11-piece CB 700, and then one was just I don't know what brand, but I want to go back to something you just said about being on time. Because I don't know, I've heard through the grapevine, I don't know how true it is, about drummers are the ones to keep time for the gig.
True. That is certainly true. Yeah.
But it's a running thing, at least from what I've heard, I could be wrong, about drummers being late to the gig.
You're absolutely wrong. It's guitar players. Those are the guys that you got to tell them. If practice is at 7, you tell them it's at 6:30.
Yes.
Because that's the only way they're ever going to get there at 7.
Right.
No, it's drummers.
You're right. You're right.
As young musicians, there are lots of flakes. And it doesn't matter what instrument you play if you're a flake. But at some point, if you begin to take music seriously, I think drummers are pretty reliable because they really have to be. They are responsible for, as you said, keeping time. And more than that, they got more stuff to set up than everybody else. They got to be there. They usually have a truck. So if you need to move your couch, drummers are good for that too.
Yes. Oh my gosh, the couch. Oh my gosh. I got stories about the red couch. Okay, yes. You're absolutely right. Yeah. And yeah, drummers do have the hardest work of all to get their gear in, set up, but not only the setup, but also the breakdown. It's hugely time consuming, but we could not do it without the drummer.
Nope, you got to have us.
It's vital. You're vitally important. Right? Mark Ryan in the studio, so happy to have you here, and I'm so happy to be able to share your original music, and that's what we're all about here on this show. And let's just launch right into one of your songs. So, Mark Ryan, we got Rain in Heaven. Is there anything you want to share about this song before we get it launched?
It probably requires a little preamble because it's a song that was my imagination running wild with what might happen if Jesus and Satan got together and said, "Do you like your job?" "No, I don't like my job." "You like your job?" "No, I don't like my job either." "How about if we switch for a day?" So
Whoa.
Jesus and Satan switch for a day. That's the premise of the song.
Wow. Check this out. Rain in Heaven by Mark Ryan.
Went to hell, said Satan, help me. Living in heaven, it's gonna be the death of me. There's nothing for a savior to do all day, 'cause everybody in heaven's already been saved. And Satan said, come on in, you came to the right place, son. Need some fresh sinners, look around, I got a ton. Make yourself at home, here's the key to hell. I'll go up to heaven, I believe that I could run it quite well. And the devil at the pearly gates said, what a lovely place this is. Look at all these happy people, I could do a lot with this. And Jesus in hell said, what a horrible place. Look at all the souls I can save. Then the a fixer-upper, but I got the time. Once you get past the screaming, this place is alright. I've seen worse in Detroit on a Saturday night. And he saved 1,000 souls, and he saved 1,000 head, and he felt pretty good about it. He was back in the game again, but then he saw Hitler with Stalin, and he realized he was wrong, 'cause hell is where those fuckers belong. Then the rain fell in heaven, rain for the first time, while in hell there was sunshine. Yeah, the rain fell in heaven, rain for the first time, and in hell there was sunshine. And Satan said, Jesus, I'm sorry it didn't work out, my friend. Maybe in another couple thousand years, we could try again.
You're listening to Mark Ryan, a local artist right here from Orange County in the studio tonight. So, Mark, I understand that you played all the instruments in that recording.
Yeah, I did. I started with a guitar track, and the song kind of wrote itself once I had the idea for the lyrics. And, you know, I have drums laying around because I'm a drummer, so I put some drums on it. And then, well, if I got drums, I got to have bass. So, you know, borrow a bass guitar, played that. And it's one of the things I picked up just, you know, being as old as I am. I've learned to play a number of different instruments. And it's fun. It's fun at the end of it to look at that and go, wow, I did all of that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Very awesome. Great song, fun song.
Thank
Awesome.
you guys. Appreciate it.
I like how that song opens up at the end with the full instrumentation. That's very interesting how that does that. Great. And the theme of the song as well, lyrically, I dig the whole theme, the whole concept of Jesus and Satan trading places. Yeah, wow.
Thank you. Yeah, it hasn't aired too much, so I don't know how much I would get away with on major airwaves. They probably wouldn't approve of that idea that it's interchangeable. But I thought it was funny, and it goes.
I think
over
it
well.
is.
I played the song as Michaela came to see me at a local showcase, and I did that song. I don't know if that's the one that made you come up and ask me, but I get a good response from that song. I think if people are open-minded, they're willing to see the humor in it and see that it's harmless. I was just poking fun a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That comes
absolutely.
across.
Oh, yeah. We totally get that. Absolutely.
Not everybody would. You know.
Well,
you know what I mean.
but we can't worry about everyone. We just need to
That's for sure.
love the people that love us and vice versa. Can't worry about the rest. And it's actually your entire set that drew me to you, but not only your set there at Campus Jacks, but also I've been following you for a couple of years here, and
I think the word is stalking, but
okay, fine.
I'm sorry.
I'm busted. I'm so busted. Yes, I do stalk
No,
songwriters.
you're not stalking.
I actually do, but it's part of the job. It's not personal. Okay, it's part of the job.
It's professional.
So you are involved in several different projects. You play for the Heretics.
I do. Very proud to be the drummer in that band. It's an absolutely amazing band. Everybody in it, the 5 people in it, well, including myself, I shouldn't do that, but they're really, really good players and singers. And everybody sings in the band, which is a really nice thing. A 5-piece band with 5 singers. And we have a great time. We don't play that much because, at this age, it's like you said, hauling the drums in and out. We play a couple times a month. And we're at the Sawdust Festival a whole bunch this summer.
Yes.
And we're at the Cliff regularly. So you can find the Heretics, and I recommend it. It's a really good band. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. I recommend the Heretics as well. Like you said, the Cliffs and the Sawdust Festival, both of those locations are down in Laguna Beach, and you won't be disappointed. It's a great, great time. And yes, everyone in the band is like so talented. It really does hold your attention the entire time. That's what I dig about it. And there's another project that you've been doing lately with another artist, like it's kind of sort of a duet, but you explain it.
It's Sanders and Ryan, and I met this guy, Justin Sanders, who is just an amazing musician. He's only half my age, which is ridiculous, but he knows all the same songs that I do. He knows all these. He's not old enough to know all these songs, but he knows them, and he's got an absolutely amazing voice. He never misses a note. I can't stand the guy. Come on, you got to make a mistake sometimes.
Right.
It's a love-hate relationship.
But the two of us have been actually doing very well, playing at the Sawdust also. We were there yesterday. We'll be there again tomorrow. And at clubs around here, Trevor's at the Tracks and Beach Fire, places like that. So that's with only 2 of us, but both of us playing guitar and singing. So a lot of Beatles and Simon and Garfunkel and things where there are lots of vocals. Again, it's just the 2 of us, but we sing in harmony all the time.
Love that.
It's the most fun to sing in harmony with somebody who's good at that.
Right.
And that project we just started a year ago, and it's doing really well. It really got off the ground, and we're doing really well with it. So awesome. Nice of you to mention that.
No, yeah, the harmonies are incredible. So I did see you guys play down at the Trevor's at the Track. Trevor's at the Track.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. Trevor's at the Tracks?
Trevor's at the Track.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you have the onion rings? The onion rings are amazing.
Oh, no.
It's really good food.
I gotta have that now. Okay, so and I had to come and go real quick and couldn't say, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, I didn't see you.
So, but next time I'll make sure that I walk up and shake your hand or just acknowledge. And the harmonies. I'll tell you what, harmonies for any group or band can truly take you to the next level. And
right. You're so right. Because honestly, people don't care if you shred on the guitar. Other guitar players care about that. But most people don't care how much you shred. They don't care how many Neil Peart fills the drummer's doing. They're not interested in that. They're interested in the vocals. And they love harmony. There's something kind of elemental about it.
There is.
Maybe it goes back to Neanderthals, moaning in the cave together. I don't know. But harmony does trigger something, and people like it. You're absolutely right about that.
Now I'm going to think about Neanderthals harmonizing all night long. Okay, no.
And she will.
I will. No, you're absolutely correct about that. And so, yes, I heard you, the 2 of you. The harmonies are so sweet. And
thank you.
Next time I'm there, I'll make sure I make time to say, hey, I'm here. Like,
do that.
Who cares if I'm there? But
I do.
No, I've checked you guys out. I am a stalker.
Okay. Good to know. You're very good at it because I look in the rearview mirror and I never catch you.
I'm in like camouflage. Okay, so next up we have Breathe In and Breathe Out. Do you have a story to go with this song before we launch it?
Yeah, this is unusual for me because I write on guitar or piano, and this one I wrote the drum part first. I came up with the drum beat that's in 7/8, which is kind of an odd time signature, and I was playing around with it, and I thought, well, that's pretty good. I'm going to record it. So I recorded myself playing about 5 minutes of that beat, and then the song I built on top of it. So that's not the way I usually write, and it sounds different than most of my stuff. So.
All right, let's check it out.
Jump on in, summer's almost over. Slake your thirst, you might still recover. Plunging under, dark and tumbling, surfacing again, foam and laughing. Breathe her in, daughter of the ocean. Sail her crest, wait for her to open. At the edge, feel yourself falling. Close enough now that you can hear the waves calling to you. Venus, everybody's waiting here for you. Breathe in, breathe out. Don't speak, don't shout. Breathe in, breathe out. Life within and without. Primal mother, nesting blissfully. She the ancient, sealed hermetically. Mermaid let her guard down, she let her guard down. Sprayed by men, salty trillion orphans. Abandoned she took in, unknown fortunes. Infected by a rude intruder. Made her bed now, I guess she's made her bed now. What to do? Venus, everybody's turned away from you. Breathe in, breathe out. Don't speak, don't shout. Breathe in, breathe out. Life within and breathe in, breathe out. Don't speak, don't shout. Breathe in, breathe out. Life within and without.
That was Mark Ryan with Breathe In, Breathe Out. That song is killer. Killer.
Thank you.
Thank
you. It's fun to hear.
It is fun to hear. And
For us too.
for us too. Yes, absolutely. I get what the vibe I get from that is like it's a modern rock with a dash of modern jazz in there. There's some rhythm changes going on there that really remind me of some like modern jazz stuff.
It goes back to kind of prog rock for me.
I would say very prog.
Because that's what I grew up with. And on guitar, I don't have the facility to play like Yes or Genesis or King Crimson songs, but on drums I can. And that's what that song was all about. So there's definitely some intricacies in there. I did that song with the band that I grew up with back in Ohio, and we used to play Yes and Genesis and stuff like that to the best of our abilities. I wouldn't say we really rose to the occasion all the time, but we did bite off some pretty difficult stuff, and so we took on that song, and it challenged even my friends that I'd been playing with for years and years. So I'm proud of it. I came up with a few things, and I'm happy that you picked up on that. Yeah,
that song right there is hot. I absolutely dig it. Yeah, I keep, whenever that comes up in my playlist, with the stalking that I do. No, that's one that keeps on going on repeat, because I love hearing the rhythm changes and where you're moving to, and I love trying to figure it out too.
Do you ever try to count it?
Yeah, I do. Yes, I do, and I still don't have it right. But so interesting. I dig that, and another thing I like about you is with all your different songs that I've heard from you, whether it's been on these recorded tracks or whether it's been live at Campus Jacks, I really like that every song is different and doesn't necessarily fit into one exact genre pocket. I like that there's this variety of things that you do, because it keeps my ears interested.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. It's, as you know, though, I mean, it's a blessing and a curse, because people like to pigeonhole you. They like to say, "Oh, this is what this guy sounds like. He writes songs that are like this." And there's something reassuring almost about that. If I put on a Jackson Browne record, there's going to be 7 or 8 songs that all sound very much like Jackson Browne. Mm-hmm. He doesn't get out into the weeds too much on one record. And so commercially, I think there's a risk to being too diverse. But from your standpoint, and if you find it interesting and keeps your ear interested, that's also what the artists, I think, do. Most songwriters probably would like to think they could write 5 different styles. So,
yeah, and that's an interesting dynamic, because so many strong songwriters struggle with, well, where do they fit, but do they want to fit into one pocket?
Maybe they want to.
Yes or no?
I think, when I see showcases with original songwriters, I think one trap that they fall into is that their songs sound the same because they're a little limited in terms of how many chords they know. Mm-hmm. You see, for instance, someone will use a capo a lot, mm-hmm. and I'm not denigrating anybody who uses the capo, but if you only know C and G, and or C, G, F, say 3 chords, and so all your songs are in C and G and F, mm-hmm. you are going to sound the same. Mm-hmm. Even with a capo, moving it around, you're going to be in the same kind of frequency all the time. So what I would say to somebody like that is, if you're trying to break out of that and you feel like you sound the same, get some theory, learn some music theory. And I'm not saying that in any kind of a superior way. It's just that it blew my mind as a drummer to find out that every one of these notes had a name, and even chord progression. Like if I go, there's a name for that progression. And once you start to master the fact that all of these little musical techniques have names and they have a purpose, the world opens up for you in terms of your songwriting. So that would be my recommendation.
Excellent recommendation by Mr. Mark Ryan. And I wholeheartedly agree. And, I want to ask you real quickly about your music editoring experience. So with film, TV, movies, and your experience as a music editor, can you describe to us a little bit about what a music editor does?
Sure. Yeah, it was a great job to fall into, and it really was just kind of lucky. I met a guy who was doing it, and he was also the mixer. I had a live band playing in Hollywood, and our mixer, our sound man, his day job was mixing and editing music for cartoons. And he was coming to the gigs just dead. And he said, I need somebody to help me. So I went in at night and learned how to do what he was doing. thing, which was cutting music. And editing, cutting, same thing. So you're basically taking music and you're putting it into the show. And whether you're working with a composer or from a library of music, it's the same thing. You look at a scene, it's a chase scene. Okay, I need a chase cue. You've got whatever to choose from. It depends. You might only have 3 chase cues, and you got to try to make them not sound like the same cue over and over again. Or maybe you have access to an entire library, and then you got to pick the right one. Well, now you got to cut it so it starts and ends in the right place, and hits when the guy's door flies off, and when the guy lands on the building, and all those things the music has to hit. So that's what an editor does, and he also helps, if there is a composer, to have the composer do all those things. I mean, he has to time it out. Okay, at 3:45, the door swings open and the motorcycle takes the door off. Well, you got to mark all those numbers down. So the editor's enabling the composer to make the music fit, or he's making it fit himself. And it's a fun job. That's one of those things that they don't tell you about in junior high. It's not like,
No.
when I grow up, I'm going to be a fireman. No, I'm going to be a music editor. No. So I fell into it, and it was a perfect job for me at the time because I was raising a family. I needed to actually make some money, which I wasn't doing, playing in club bands in Hollywood. And it ended up being 33 years of working in TV and film.
Wow.
And along the way, a cool thing that happened was, because I was there when the shows were being edited and put together, if the show needed a song, I'm like, hey, I have a song that would fit perfectly.
Have one that fits there.
And you have to play it right politically, because there are a lot of powers in the mix. There is a music supervisor, and that's his job. But if you're friends with him and you say, hey, I got this guy that I know who does blues tracks, this is perfect for that bar scene or whatever. So I ended up getting quite a few songs of my own in those shows because I was in the right place at the right time.
Awesome. What a tremendous experience. Like, wow. I dig that. I dig that, and here's why. So I have my mind, if I'm watching, I'm going to give an example. The Twilight Zone, the black and white Twilight Zone movies. Okay. Yes. Okay, so here's an example. I will sit down to watch the Twilight Zone for the night, and as I'm chilling out in my pajamas, right? And then I all of a sudden get fixated on the sound effects or the music tracks that they're using where and when and why throughout the movie.
Does it take you out of the show at all?
Well, it does, because I'm so hyper fixated on the music or the sound effects, trying to figure out how did they do that back then with they did not have the same technological, sound.
No copy and paste.
No, they didn't have that back then.
No pitch correction.
So I get really fixated on how did they make that sound? How did they create that? And where's that song clip? Or even when someone that's mega famous right now, like Billie Eilish, and her songs being in certain movies or TV series where they're only using this verse or this chorus as the opener or the intro or the outro to this TV series. And I become so fixated on how that has all of the thought and work that went into perfectly editing that for that specific moment to give that specific mood.
Yeah, you already know too much because you're not supposed to notice that. You're not.
I lose track of the whole show. I don't even know what the show was about. I don't even know what the story was. I just know that this is the intro and that's the outro, and this happened at 3 minutes in with this sound effect.
You're dialed into music, so you're paying a little more attention to that. You're really not. The songs are different because you probably noticed that it's a Billie Eilish song, and you're absolutely right. They'll only use one part. They'll say, "What's the part that actually really nails this scene?" And they'll use just a little bit of it. They still got to pay a lot of money, even though they're only using a few seconds of it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you'll see like a chase scene, like I was talking about earlier, and maybe they've used a lot of times. In the old days, they used to use that shaft
Yeah,
with the but maybe the chase goes on for 5 minutes and the song's only 3 minutes long. And if you listen like you're listening, where you're really in analyzing mode, you'll start to, that's where the loop was. You just started it over again. You know?
Exactly.
And you're not supposed to notice that stuff. So,
well, I'm weird, but I do find that so interesting. So when I read your bio and learned more about you, I was so interested in what your experience has been as a music editor, because the music and the sound effects that are placed into these into film or TV really sets the mood.
Has a huge effect
For what's happening visually.
Yeah. You've probably done the trick where you go look at a scary movie and turn the sound off. It's usually not very scary.
No.
Right. You think, that's not even blood.
People
that's
are
ketchup.
People are being dumb right
Suddenly
now.
Suddenly nothing is scary. Yeah.
The music does it.
Well, that's the experience.
There are some examples, though, where music is not being used, and they've actually done it, I won't say the right way, but for instance, the movie No Country for Old Men, there isn't any music. And yet that's a gripping, scary movie. That guy, do you know the movie?
Oh, no. I'm going to have to watch it now.
Yeah.
Okay, let me write that down.
It's pretty remarkable that they have you on the edge of your seat for 2 hours.
Without any...
And there's no music. Yeah.
And the name of it is?
No Country for Old Men. It's a good movie. I believe that's a Coen Brothers movie.
I believe so. Yeah.
Those guys do know what they're doing.
All right, so that goes on.
That's an aberration, though, because generally you do need music to make you know when to feel scared or when to feel sad.
Yep.
That's exactly what music does. It tells you or encourages you or brings you into feeling happy or sad or melancholy or reflective or introverted, or that's exactly what music does. I think music is awesome. So
let's hear some music. Maybe we could talk
live.
This man into playing live for us.
You brought a guitar. Let's hear some.
And I tuned it and everything. So yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'd love to play. This is a song that I wrote about taking a chance and moving on. Myself in a quandary, wondering how I got there, surrounded by bills and laundry, must have missed a turn somewhere. It was faded and familiar, couldn't hear no sirens call, could have stayed in that haze for the rest of my days, staring at the same four walls, staring at the same four walls. Ships are safe in harbor, sheltered by the shore. Ships are safe in harbor, yeah, but that's not what ships are for. I'll spend some time in the city, I'll spend some time by the sea. Every stay seemed like a day away from where I really wanted to be. So I left Virginia. It was either that or make her my wife. She'll probably say that I was running away, but I was run deeper into my life, run deeper into my life. Ships are safe in harbor, sheltered by the shore. Ships are safe in harbor, yeah, but that's not what ships are for. No, no, that's not what ships are for. wander are not lost. What good is a coin that won't get tossed? Ships are safe in harbor, sheltered by the shore. Ships are safe in harbor, yeah, but that's not what ships are for. No, no, that's not what ships are for. That's not what ships are for. No, 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 that's not what ships are for.
Yes. Woo! Mark Ryan. Mark Ryan in the studio, ladies and gentlemen. Mark, how can people get a hold of you on social media?
Well, I wish I had a better answer to that. You can look up the Heretics. You'd have to find the right one. There are a few other bands that have that name. You can look me up. Mark Wallace Ryan is the name I go by on Facebook. And that's about as plugged in as I am. I'm happy to, leave you a card and stuff. If people want to call me, they can. That's fine. I'm playing all over the place right now, which is, I can't even really appreciate it enough. I moved to Orange County, Laguna Beach, 5 years ago. And after living in LA for 33 years, I had built a pretty good network of friends and musicians and bands, and I get called for this and that. And I thought that it would take me a really long time to recreate that down here, but I wanted to live down here. I met a beautiful woman and got married 2 years ago.
Yes,
you
did.
She was you've seen
She's
her?
so pretty.
Oh my gosh. Obviously you have seen her.
I like her. I like her ink.
Zoka Turner, that's my wife. I'm very lucky to have her too. And it has turned out great because not only do I have her and I'm living in Laguna Beach, but musically things have really taken off. And I have the two projects that you were kind enough to mention. Thank you. Sanders and Ryan and the Heretics. And it's keeping me busy, and I get to play all the time with great people, and I get to come here and see great people and play my songs for you. It's just really a treat. I really appreciate it.
We are so happy to have you here tonight. This has been a really awesome experience, and I hope that you will keep us in mind and come back in the future. Let us know what's happening with you. We're gonna stalk you. That's what we do. But no, seriously, love what you're doing and all the experience that you bring to the table. Solid guitar playing, my friend. Come on.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Oh,
Dang. If I could only play like 1/16 of that quality. Wow.
You can.
No, but hey, solid.
It's all in the guitar. You buy him his guitar, it plays itself.
Oh, it's the guitar.
It plays
Okay.
itself.
Awesome having you on the show, and we'd love to have you back again.
I would love to do it. Thank you. I have more songs.
Great.
Yeah.
We want to hear them.
We want to hear them. Mark Ryan, it's been a pleasure having you on the show here on GZR Ground Zero Radio. We are here every Monday night, 7 to 9 p.m. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you, Michaela and Mike.
You're so welcome. And thank you for tuning in. We will talk to you again next Monday night. You can always follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram. Now we're on TikTok. And our interviews are replayed on YouTube.com. Just look for GZR Ground Zero Radio to listen or share any of these interviews with these phenomenal songwriters. Love you so much. Have a great night.
Thank